TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour. We've got a bunch of stuff going on. First question is, okay, we've got yet another move. Are we going to have a ton of volume today? It's going to be okay. It's not going to be radically short, but again, not a radical endorsement either. We've got a little over 7.1 billion shares, which is a little better than a lot of people thought. For things going on in the market, I have not looked at it in a few minutes, so let's go ahead and pull up a chart for Google. We'll talk about what's happening in the church of what's happening now. Announced, I think it was on Friday, the founders of Google are coming back to the office for the first time since 2015. They kind of all decided to leave their day-to-day and even week-to-week and even month-to-month. They were basically showing up at the big meetings every quarter for the insiders, but not much else than that. So what do we have here in the last couple of days? Well, Larry Page and the other one, I can't, Serge, have showed back up because they are apparently starting to think that they may have a real problem with chat GDP, GPT. There's so many of them today. Anyway, they may have a real problem. You had a lot of volume on Friday. I think that them coming back in added something. But them coming back does tell you that there is probably a fairly decent problem that they see now with new technology. They really haven't done anything themselves in a while to update their product. They, at the edges, they've made it a little better. But it does look like they could have much bigger problems with their current model. And so they're back in the office slaving away dutifully. But I think, especially if you hide out for a long time and don't do anything, eventually someone will come after your business. I always loved there was a little sign on Andy Grove's desk from Intel. He always said, if we don't eat our own lunch, someone else will. Well, I think they've rested on their laurels for a long time, decided that they'll just keep running more and more and more ads to try to keep the boat afloat. But a much harder time, I think, is in store for the googly eyes coming forward. Anyway, first note that I think is interesting. China is closed for the week. They're open next Monday. Didn't hear a lot about that into last week, but there is some evidence, and I'm just going to call it a theory now, that a lot of the money right now is coming into the markets from China. We also saw that money start to come right after one of the Fed dudes started talking around noon on Friday. And the important part of that is that no one else gets to talk until we get to the Fed announcement on February 1st. Generally, these things are somewhere in the mid part of the month. They're not on the last day or into fund buying. So that's probably going to push fund buying after I don't think a lot of people are going to get in front. Fund buying probably into February 2nd and after. But that kind of is at the core of another theory I have, and that is I've seen everybody go bat crap crazy, thinking that everything's behind us now. We're just going higher. I did watch a little bit of the propaganda TV from the normal propaganda outlets, CNBC, Bloomberg during the day. They seem to be so much better from midnight to 5 in the morning, and then they go whole hog New York propagandists again. So they're not any better as far as I can tell. But at least night you get a window of what they're telling the rest of the world, which I think is a lot more and a lot closer to reality. They tend to be kind of homers. You got to think that Bloomberg, I think 80% of their viewers are in New York. So maybe there is a reason for that. Maybe they throw the red meat to those folks. But I don't think it's either fair, reasoned, or balanced. But during the night, 2 o'clock in the morning, sometimes I get up, I watch a little of it. Seems like there's always something interesting at night. During the day, not so much. Anyway, the whole point of that is just how much of what we have now are massive upgrades and changes to the earnings calls, which if they would have happened Thursday, maybe you would have had the Fed say something about it. Maybe now that no one can say something about it, them going to the whip may give you a good indication. If there were people running around Wall Street just waiting to shove money in your pockets, I'd probably be standing around. So when they do stand around and tell you that they're just waiting to stuff money in your pockets, my spidey sense goes off a little bit too much glad handing and backslapping for my taste today on the propaganda outlets. But doesn't mean that can't continue. Again, China is closed till next Monday. Now, does that money come back? Are people that aren't with a megaphone on a CNBC, what are they doing? Are they selling into this? Are they going to wait until it peaks? Jesse Livermore, one of the big stock operators of all time, in his book, said that you can only sell on the way down, that you can't really sell on the way up and be able to move a market higher. So, I don't know if that's 100% true, but, he made a little bit of money back in his day, and I think it's probably at least mostly true. So we've got that. Salesforce, a nice pop today. You've got some activists out there that are just, I don't think their business is going to get any better, frankly. They've done a lot to irritate those folks that would be their customers. A lot of people in individual states and cities that would be buying their services. They've gone to great lengths to alienate. I do not think that changes. You don't try to overthrow the government of a state and then go back and start trying to sell stuff to them. You've got a nice bounce here today, but are those activists, are they really going to do something? Or are they just going to gut the company by getting rid of a lot of folks, make some quick cash, and get out? Exit stage left. We'll be back in a minute.
Currencies, commodities, and bond markets are as important as ever right now with how they're driving the volatility in equity markets across the globe, which is why it's a great time to try out Teddy Cakestat's Tiger Forex Report. Teddy Cakestat breaks down the Forex markets every Monday using his 30-plus years of experience as a trading veteran of futures, Forex, stocks, and options. Teddy releases his weekly Tiger Forex Report every Monday morning with coverage of all the major currency pairs, including the dollar index, the euro dollar, pound dollar, dollar Swiss, dollar yen, as well as many more, and he also has weekly coverage of the crude oil market and the 30-year T-bonds, as they both influence Forex markets tremendously. When you sign up for the Tiger Forex Report, you also gain instant access to Teddy's 60-minute webinar archive he just hosted, Forex Strategies and Fundamentals, What is Behind the Tiger Forex Report. For all the details and to start your 30-day Tiger Forex Report subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Are you grinding in the market, but seeing little to no return? Or are you a successful trader, simply looking to make your job a little easier? Learn to take the path of least resistance with David White's powerful trading newsletter. David White is an accomplished trader whose deep understanding of technology and the markets allows him to consistently find and share winning trades. Support and resistance define the ranges in which stocks trade. By understanding these trading ranges, David White is able to find the path of least resistance. David White's trading newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, is delivered daily before the markets open to make every trading day an easy win. Visit TFNN.com today and subscribe to David White's Ultimate Trading Newsletter for $119 a month. And try all of our newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Take the path of least resistance at TFNN, educating investors. Are you looking for a way to consistently add winning trades to your portfolio? Tom O'Brien is here to help. Tom O'Brien has been successfully trading markets for over 30 years. A frequent contributor to TD Ameritrade Network and CNBC, Tom O'Brien founded TFNN over 20 years ago to help educate investors just like you. Tom's daily market newsletter, Market Insights, is published every morning when the markets open to give you the competitive informational edge you need to succeed. These newsletters are packed full of Tom's advanced technical analysis and are geared to deliver comprehensive strategies for a successful portfolio. Get Tom O'Brien's newsletter, Market Insights, today and try all of our products and newsletters 30 days risk-free with our money-back guarantee at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
As we come back, trying to find a little map here. There's Alt. Oh, there I am. Okay. And we'll see here. Okay, I got that. Just doing a little house cleaning during the break here. Okay, let's take a look. Again. Okay. Last SPY I have at 401.38. So I had a lot of people asking me where the market's going to go. As I said, I don't spend a lot of time racking up a lot of integral brain power on where the market's going based on action on options expiration or the 2 days that follow, which are options rollover. Generally, if one day is up, the other one's down, or if it's down, it's up. This is a period of time where options are sold to make up for the ones that expired. Some hedges are moved, and there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. It's not always as clear as everybody would say. So the one thing I want to start seeing today is, with the market up, what are the option market makers doing? Well, the answer so far is not a whole lot. Now, maybe that changes tomorrow. But generally, by Wednesday morning, all this options rollover business is done, and we start generally a new trend into the end of the month, which generally is a little bullish bias because of fund buying. Fund buying, of course, is the last 2 trading days of the month and first 3. Although there's nobody that chases anybody around, I've never seen anybody fined for not being 100% invested. Generally, the fine for doing that is the big money managers do not buy your funds anymore. And if you do not perform as they think you should perform, there's a problem. There is a problem. And of course, there's two sides to every coin. You've got the money managers who actually buy stuff. You have the fund managers, of course, who buy the stuff. And the money managers. The money managers buy the funds. So the only thing that the fund managers have to do is be 100% invested. Then the money managers will hedge those positions to make sure that if we had a 9/11 or a pandemic or whatever, that they don't get blown out. They buy real at the extreme edges of puts and calls. Maybe they do it with futures, but they hedge out any big movements beyond any kind of thing that they expect. So we've got a lot of these kind of intertwined things going on, including what I said. I'm wondering if I just said it during the 2 p.m. update, not this one. We've got Klein leaving as the gatekeeper for President Biden. The new guy is already taking a lot of slings and arrows because he's not extreme enough for some in his party. He has also got a lot of cash. He's not a poor man and made it not through government, not through the 10% being kicked up, or all the other ways, the phony ways of making money, which are numerous. But now that I know them all, I probably would have gotten into politics. I mean, make your wife the head of your advertising committees and give her the 15% ad gratuity. Always a good one. Sell a book that no one wants to read to maybe some organization who will buy 1 million of them. And of course, no one ever reads it. It's such a great scam, isn't it? I think that most people in the mob would have, if they would have thought about it, would have gone into politics. Much easier, less chance of going to jail. Anyway, I digress. There is a lot going on with that. I think they look at that as or at least some of the people in the market are looking at somebody that's probably a little bit more friendly, maybe a little bit more friendly about pushing an agenda for mergers and other things that make Wall Street a little bit more money. 877-927-6648 is the number that you should call, because you probably have a deep and burning question or something that is deep and burning, and there's ointments and lotions for that. So do not call me with those questions. Anyway, as we said, looking at what's going on. Let's see what we have here. Let's take a quick look at the SPYs. Someone brought up the volume on those. Question about Intel longer term. I don't think anything's changed. I think we've got enough time to get that in this segment. So certainly, you've got a retracement up here in a nice gap. You got about half the volume you had Friday. As I said, it wasn't any kind of blowout. You did have some fairly significant short selling, at least in the last few days, but you kind of always do. But certainly not a lot of volume. As I said, for me, I don't see a huge signal out here that we've changed anything. But at the same time, I don't see the wheels falling off the wagon in the next 10 minutes. Again, Wednesday, are people going to start thinking about exiting in front of earnings, which we'll get into later in the show. So anyway, take a look at Intel, INTC. Intel has tried a lot of things. I don't think that anything other than this lower trading range is in effect. You got about half the volume you had on Friday. So yeah, you're probably somewhere around $25 to 30. Let's call it $31 in a trading range. The energy off this last low of 25.35 just wasn't all that exciting. Maybe I'm wrong on the general part of the market, and that might help Intel out a little bit. but problematic to say the best. And of course, what do we have out here this morning? Some huge upgrades on everything in the semiconductor. Man, were they going to the whip in the last furlong here. But certainly, where do you go? You gapped down on Micron on the 16th of November. You did so with 26 million shares. Today, you're into that gap with 12 million shares. So I don't see a lot. But again, I don't see the instant death of the market in the next, day or so. As I said, maybe this is just a great opportunity for the folks in the market to run all the shorts and get people to buy at highs. I'm still thinking we've got some kind of trading range going on. We'll be back in a minute.
If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my Gold Report. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metal sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. For free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
You miss with it? Yeah. Posting in the den. Devo, you must whip it. Well, certainly I think they've gone to the whip here to try to get this market moving. Again, there is a stock that has gotten the requisite volume and done it in a convincing way, although there are few there. That's Taiwan Semiconductor. We bought it around $74 and already sold it, so there's some money left on the table. But as I say all the time, sell it when you can, not when you have to. But last high at $91.42 on Taiwan Semiconductor. came at 16 million shares. You got that already. So not going to be real tough to have kind of a nice day out here. When you look at some of the other ones, again, this is where I start to look at a bunch of people being short. We talked about this one in particular and said that if you are short, you should think that the best time to short and the risk if you are already short is in the confluence zones. We pointed out on Qualcomm that level was, let's get back up here, 136.41, 136.84. You see, had a very good, and there were a lot of these stocks out there that were like that. So you got another $4 or $5 to go for Qualcomm. Could I see that hit? That could be it. You didn't have a lot of energy on this way up. Even today, volume is not some kind of wild move. But at the same time, if you want to have really good risk reward for having a short position, you want to have that at the confluence range. If you're unfamiliar with confluence, it is the 618 of one move and the 382 of another. You will share one number, and that's generally the low or the high. In this case, it's 101.63. And then you go back and you look at the other two moves. In Qualcomm, it's 190.70, the January 5th high of 2022. So over a year ago, if you live in Lutz. The next move is after that carnage was up to 155.79. That's the July 22nd high of last year. So you take both of those and then figure the 618 and the 382 of the other. And if you get exactly what we have here, which is a very narrow move that's maybe 1%, 0.75%, 1% between those two, that is generally exceptionally good resistance and support levels, depending on whether you're coming from high to low or low to high. But you're in that zone with about $4 to go. What's 132? Yeah, to let's call it 136, right? So yeah, you got a fairly tight range there. Excellent risk reward, almost always on these. But on this one, you really just didn't have anything in the way of a lot of juice. You still don't. So that's probably a top maybe in the next couple of days. Okay. What else was out there? Qualcomm. I should have probably bought NVIDIA as I threw so much money at buying its products over the weekend that maybe that had something to say. I don't think I'm individually part of the huge move here today because they saw me drive up to Orlando to buy one of their products because they're so hard to get. But you don't have the volume really today either. Volume right now about 48 million shares into a 66 million share high. That's the December 13th. On that, you've got really kind of just under $200 here. Could you hit that tomorrow? I think you're going to get one more try or push in some of these. But certainly there is a long-term gap about 168. And that would be, even if you just saw it pre-market tomorrow, if that's where you wanted to be, that'd be it. Anyway, the leg that started off at 138.84 on AMD, the December 28th level, that's you didn't have a lot of energy on this push so far compared. Is it a little better? Yeah. Is it probably based on NVIDIA being almost like Tesla being we'll just short it and short it and short it, and eventually one day we'll make some money. Sounds more like gambling than speculation to me, but I have a handful of people that email me every day telling me how they've made a ton of money shorting NVIDIA or AMD. Doesn't look like they're right for the last 7 days. Okay, and we're going to go to AMD, a nice day today. At least you got the same volume you had on Friday, which wasn't a lot. You're back up to the gap down from the 2nd of December. That came down with 64 million shares. Again, not as bad as one would think. 60 million shares already. Is it a blowout day? No. Does that say that you could possibly test 79.23 in the next day or two? You could. Again, there's a handful of these that are doing a little bit better and some that aren't doing as good. Okay. Okay. My package has shipped. Thank you, Mr. Amazon. And let's see. FUTU. Sounds like that should be something bad, doesn't it? Trying to remember what it is here. Hong Kong operates an online brokerage and wealth management platform in Hong Kong. Trading, clearing, settlement services. Not exactly sure why, since it's all its businesses are closed. Yeah, not much. This actually looks like an ABC on the way down to me. Let's take a quick look and see if that was the case. Where would you come in? Okay. So, yeah, you come right back into this gap higher that had 4 million shares. You had 3.2 on Friday. You had 2.4 today so far. It's certainly up against resistance. I don't know the inside of this company. You never know. But anyway, if it is an ABC on the way down, 1-to-1 takes you to $21. But you got a high volume low down at the low that really hasn't been retested. That had 26 million shares. That also says that you probably should retest that low too. Okay, 877-927-6648. Okay, other things are already in progress over most of TFNN as I dance my way through getting to the next stock and email. Okay. Oh, I danced so long we got to the break. We'll be back in a minute.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. For free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
As we come back, AMD, look at here. Got a little buzzing in the background. Not sure where that's coming from. Sounds like the board at headquarters. Okay. Okay, what do we have right now? We pulled back a little bit. As I said, I'm not surprised that we've got a little bit going on. Often market makers really haven't decided that the market's going to the moon, so I haven't gotten too excited yet. I'm waiting for something that's kind of a fastball down the middle that I can hit for a home run here. So I'm going to be a little bit more patient than I think many other people are, sitting on my hands. But we'll look at that. AMD, as I said, it's just back up, but nothing big on that. Let's take a look at the usual suspects and see how they are doing. Let's go here a little bit more. Okay, we've got 98, no, that's on that day. We've got 57 million shares, 58 million shares going to a gap down of 98 million shares on Apple. This actually filled the entire gap with a wick today and has given it back up. Volume, again, pretty puny, 58 million shares compared to the gap down of 98, let's call it 99 million shares back on the 15th of December. So a light volume retest at that. Does that mean that you couldn't go back up to 149.97? No, but there isn't a lot of juice into that. Let's take a look at earnings this week. After the bell tonight, one of the darlings, and I think pre-announcements already, has been Logitech. After the bell tonight. Yeah. I don't think there's anything you can get out of that. They pretty much opened their Christmas presents a week early. Let's see if there's anything else out here. I don't see anything else that really gets me excited. Now, tomorrow morning, a whole different story. Of course, maybe this is why they decided they needed to run the market today and maybe on Friday, and had to really go after it. J&J back down close to the lows. 166.82 is the November 11th low. That had 11 million shares. You already kind of touched it. Didn't quite break it on Friday with 8.2 million shares. That doesn't look good. You'd have to have a surprise to really move that stock, I think, higher. Also, Verizon Communications, a little bit better off. It had a nice pop higher on the 4th of January. It's now come back and filled all of that. The downside is that, you had some pretty good volume on Friday. Today, maybe not as much, but problematic to say the best. Let's take a look at RTX, which is in that whole thing. Okay. Raytheon, my next door neighbor works for them. 7 million shares on the last previous low. That was at 92.78. You got about $2 more to go back into them. Didn't have a lot of volume today. Kind of hard to believe these guys are making so much stuff for Ukraine and not getting a lot of love. Maybe that tells you something else going on. Also in the morning, we've got 3M. 2 M's wouldn't have been enough. Oh, that reminds me of the advertising fiasco at M&M's. Who owns M&M's, by the way? Don't know. But anyway, apparently people don't like their horrible ads, and they've been crashing. Maybe somebody in the den knows who owns M&M. I'm sure it's some huge corporation. Is it Hershey's? You would think Hershey's would own M&M, but maybe not. Huge volume, just a couple of days. Mars? Okay, thanks. Yeah, okay. Do they even trade? Do they have a symbol? Be interesting to see. December 23rd, 117.80, 2.6 million shares. You hammered it on Friday with 5 million shares. This does not look good. Not exactly sure why their Scotch tape isn't driving them home again. In the housing sector, we've got a little bit of movement. DHI. And see. Okay. Family owned. Well, the family's going to have coal for Christmas then, apparently from all the people that quit buying the M&Ms because of their horrible ads. Okay, D.H. Horton, this thing's just gone sideways. I don't think you can make a lot about that. Very interesting to me that everybody just thinks it's going right back up to the top. I think that's something the Fed will put an end to soon enough. In the energy sector, we've got the Halliburtons. This did break out, but it really never got the sign of strength that it should. It's pulled right back in with 11 million, almost 12 million shares on the 18th of January on the pullback, and now just kind of hovering around the top. You got to think long term that it's a good business. I had to die laughing, and I want to give a tip of the head, a nod of the head, a tip of the hat to Rebel Media for asking very tough questions over at Davos last week, going into the belly of the beast where evil lives. He had a lot of questions for those folks in vaccine world. They didn't really answer much of anything, but I'm glad that they got the questions at least asked nonetheless. But Greta Thunberg was my favorite one because they asked her why didn't she denounce OPEC if she hates fossil fuels. She just laughed and giggled. I think that tells you everything. That's a great interview to watch. But, everybody says you got to talk strength and you got to talk strength to power. Well, I don't think any of these people were getting anything other than softball questions all week long. But you know what? Nobody should be able to go through life without getting a few hard questions, especially when maybe what they did was not all that great, smart, or ethical. Anyway, Halliburton, nice sideways move. Okay. Hey, what do you think here? Okay, we got D.H. Horton, Halliburton. See anything else? Nope. We come back, we'll look at tomorrow night, actually tomorrow night. Microsoft, Capital One, Texas Instruments, Intuitive Surgical.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Everything in the universe is governed by the Fibonacci sequence. This mathematical principle is responsible for everything from the most aesthetically pleasing artwork to patterns in the stock market. To stay on top of stock patterns you can take advantage of, sign up for the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter at TFNN.com. When you subscribe, you'll get a weekly report from veteran day trader Larry Pesavento on stocks you need to pay attention to. And you can trust Larry's analysis. After all, he's got 45 years experience as a day trader. Larry will also provide daily charts, videos, and data on the key markets that he's tracking. Expect notifications from Larry on market movement you need to act on at any time. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. Subscribe to the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter today. TFNN.com, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den, hosted at Discord. TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years, with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And as we go and get ready to wrap up another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour, we'll look at some of the stocks into earnings tomorrow night. Microsoft, nice pop into a candle that had 6.6 million shares. You got 20 million shares. You had 30 million shares back on the 18th. So, just kind of hovering around there. I don't see a lot. When we look at Capital One, a little bit. These are all turtling a little bit, prairie dogging, sticking their heads out a little bit, hoping that the rancher is not there with his Winchester. 2.1 million shares on Capital One compared to 3.4 back on December 36. 107.35 the high today in that one. Texas Instruments, TXN. I caught some shills whipping this one today. Unclear why you'd want to be in this, other than I think he really was trying to say through veiled illusions that he would lose less money on this if he's wrong. Anyway, nice pop on this, but again, I'm not going to call it anything with a lot of juice. See what else we have. FFIV. A little pop in that. Okay, well, you all know we've got a lot of stuff going on. We got, I think, some China money coming in. Not sure if that's going to exit stage left. Ameritrade, when the gates to the Orient reopen next Monday. And that's kind of it. Let's see what we have. What do we have here? Not a lot of news. Let's look at it. Well, just hovering around this area, which should be fairly decent. Resistance on the way up. We'll see what tomorrow brings. As I said, don't put too much stock into options rollover days or options days themselves. Sell when you can, not when you have to. We shall return.
Building wealth trading in the stock market